homosexuality was thought to be a comparatively rare phenomenon until Kinsey came along and provided very good evidence that actually there were, of course, roughly 20 million gay men and women. And that was important. And it was important because it gave great hope to gay people and lesbians, because they, for the first time, realized that they were not a tiny minority, but actually a very sizable proportion of the population.
The feeling that was created was you could walk down the street and, oh my heavens, 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 20 or whatever it might be having those feelings, might be having those experiences. It really shook people up and made them, it made it impossible for them to think about homosexuality in the old ways, that it was something way over there.
But then there was such a turnaround in the country, you know, come shortly after the '48 elections, and then in came Senator McCarthy, and all of a sudden the country slipped into the dark ages.
You can run away if you like. You have been here trying to smear the staff of this committee. The young men who have been working to uncover communists.
Mr. Chairman, apparently every time anybody says anything against anybody working for Senator McCarthy, he is smearing them and he's accusing them of communists.
People were looking for enemies of all sorts everywhere, not just communists, but queers, anything, anybody who's deviant. People who were dissidents of any kind, sexually, socially, politically, what have you. And they were looking for people like this under every bed and around every corner and behind every door. It was a whole different spirit.
Right after the big business about the Hollywood 10, we began to hear in 48 and 49 that they were beginning to kick guys out of the State Department for being gay. And they were kicking guys out of the Army, they were kicking them out of the Navy. They were making the connection between communists and gay people, and making the suggestion that the Soviet Union was using gay people as spies because they were being afraid of blackmail, and so they were a danger in the federal government and in the State Department.
I came to the department in 1951, and I was involved there in continuing investigations. The easiest target for foreign intelligence sources, for foreign intelligence agencies, was sex.
McCarthy made one feel that a gay person was like a Mata Hari.
Did you think this came from a pixie?
Question, did you think this came from a pixie?
Counsel, for my benefit, define, I think he might be an expert on that.
Yeah.
How do you pixie?
Yeah. I should say, Mr. Senator, that a pixie is a close relative of a fairy.
Hearings were held with respect to developing an executive order screening personnel coming into government. And this executive order was Executive Order 10450. EO 10450 outlined the fact that a person who had a top secret clearance could not continue after having acknowledged involvement in homosexual activities.
Your first year is a probationary year, and there's normally an investigation during that year. And I was called in, and they said, we have information that leads us to believe that you're homosexual. Do you have any comment? And I said, what's the information? And they said, we can't tell you. That would reveal our sources.
The sources of our information on these people generally came from a co-participant. And we were fortunate in that when we interviewed some of these people, which we were required to do before they left the department, that they furnished us with a long list of names of others who were similarly involved.
And in those days, homosexuality as such was, with no further reason or rationale, was a basis for exclusion from the civil service. And by the end of the year, sort of as a Christmas present, I was out.
We offer them, first of all, an opportunity of facing a board hearing with the department before they went. We offer them an opportunity to resign. I don't think we had 10 hearings, and we separated 900 to 1,000 employees of the Department of State.
So I proceeded to appeal administratively through the formal appeal procedures, which went up a few steps, and then I always follow avenues till their end. So I appealed it ultimately up into the White House. We got nowhere there. I attempted to appeal it to the House and Senate Civil Service committees, which were not terribly sympathetic.
Down through the years, we've had many, many cases, but only one case to my knowledge where an individual, after his interviews with us, he went out and committed suicide.
Now, Mr. Adams, subversives, homosexuals, in the Air Force and in the Navy.
I was in service during the McCarthy era, 51, 2, and 3. The OSI started an investigation of me because some of the women I had been associating with were under investigation for homosexuality. There was no time of the day when they wouldn't come and get me. It didn't make any difference where I was. And when they had me in the office, there were always 3 men there. One of them would ask the questions, one would watch my reactions, and the other one would make notes. And I'm not easily intimidated, but I was totally intimidated by these men. This had been going on for about 10 or 11 months. And I knew I was at an emotional, a physical, and a mental breaking point someplace. Incriminate this woman sexually with myself. Their promises were that I would get a general discharge and that they would make no contact at all with this family because it was important that her parents not know anything about this. Well, needless to say that both of these conditions were violated. I got neither a general discharge nor did they keep their distance from that family in town. And to this day, that girl will not talk to me. I entered the service as an integrated personality, totally adjusted, confident, capable, and I came out of the service disintegrated and with no self-image, no prospects for a secure or a profitable tomorrow, and in a sort of limbo.
A high point in the romance of Bob and Mary. For them, the future looks bright.
I assumed, of course, I had to get married. It was just so pervasive. You know, the entire economy was geared to this. This was the big period of growth. We were getting, the Eichler homes were all going up around Palo Alto, where I was at the time. It was burgeoning into greater suburbia. 3-bedroom homes were the thing, and you wondered how you were going to get your 4 children to 3-bedroom homes. And it was just so accepted that almost everybody that I knew bought into this.